the date so that we can arrange our...
Okay, this is my audience because my cameraman has to count. So, my 5 people. Hi, I want to thank everybody for coming for my 3rd or 4th speech. Today I'm going to talk about, my topic is spanking versus timeout, because I wanted to talk about discipline, that's it. And I did a little research to find out exactly what is timeout, and timeout is a quiet place that you will put a child who has been acting up, who needs discipline. And it's like a chair, you sit them in a corner or in a room, and they just have to sit there quietly. And they said depending on the age, how long you need them to sit, because if they sit too long, then they find other stuff to entertain them, and it's not really doing anything. But it's just a quiet place that they need to be for a little while until, to let them know you was wrong, you were bad, and this is your punishment. And then they said that you also let them know that it's you who put yourself in timeout. So I guess that's their way of thinking, if I do this, then I'm going to have to be in timeout, I'm going to have to sit, and, this is my punishment. Well, I disagree with timeout. Oh, I also read that timeout, as I did more research, is not a form of discipline, which I totally agree with that. They said that's just a mechanism to have the children, who are overactive, calm down a little bit, because they're doing too much, they're getting into too much. You put them in timeout, have them calm down, slow down, think about what you're doing, because you're off the hook. But a lot of people are changing timeout into a discipline mechanism to chastise your children, because society has decided that spanking is not the way to go. Now, in my group era, however you want to call it, we grew up with spankings, and I see nothing wrong with spankings myself. I mean, spankings, if you did something wrong, you got your butt whooped, you had to go take your bath, and then you were put in timeout because you had to go to bed, and that's where you spent your time thinking about what you did, but you knew not to do that no more because you didn't want that butt whooping and you didn't want to go to bed. My children grew up with the spanking mechanism as well, which I turned out okay. My kids turned out okay. Whose bright idea was it to get away from the spankings and switch over to this timeout thing is beyond me. But in doing some more reading, you found that pregnancy rate is higher now than it was when spanking was in place. The disrespect to your elderly is higher now than it was when I grew up, my children grew up. The dropout rate is slightly higher. I didn't see a big difference on the different things that I read in the dropout rate in high school, but the children are just off the hook. When you're in the grocery store, I'm sure y'all seen in the grocery store, they be cutting up, and the parents be trying to quiet it down. My mother just had to give me the look, and I knew to chill out, or I had something coming. Oh, I know, the other thing I wanted to say was just an observation with my son and his girls. He favors timeout, I would say. He doesn't call it timeout, but I think he favors timeout because when Denise cuts up, she has to go stand and face the wall. I think that's crazy, but that's his daughter. But then there's a difference. I think he does both because, for an example, they drew on the wall in their room with some crayons. Okay, that was a big no-no. They got a spanking. They had to clean the wall, and then they had to go to bed. Well, they only drew on that wall one time. But when she does stuff or when she says stuff and he puts her in the timeout because she has to go face the wall, she's liable to do it again because it's no big deal to her to go face that wall and she starts singing her ABCs or the XYZs, and she entertains herself while she has to go stand over there. So she's not learning that that was a no-no. She shouldn't have done it. and don't do it again, opposed to when they drew on the wall, they got the butt spanked, had to clean the wall, and go to bed. So that's why I don't favor the timeout, because to me, I don't think they really learn that that's a no-no, that they should not do that, and if I do it again, I think they feel if they do it again, only consequences are they're going to have to stand in this wall, stand and face the wall, or go sit in a room in a chair and, be quiet for a little while. I think we've gotten away from true discipline. Yes, thank you. There is a difference between a spanking and child abuse, okay, because that was something else that I read, that it's too aggressive and it's a form of child abuse. There's a big difference. People know the difference between spanking, well, they should know the difference between a spanking and child abuse, okay? You just spank the child, send them to his room, and be done with it. You don't beat them to death, okay? So I think we need to get back to spanking, in my opinion, because like I said, a spanking teaches, in my opinion. You're not trying to abuse the child, you're trying to teach the child. That timeout, to me, just doesn't work, because they really aren't learning anything from standing in a corner for 5, 6, 7 minutes. I think we need to get Big Mama back, because Big Mama did the discipline. Families are not, it takes the old saying, it takes a family, not a family, a village to raise a child. When I was growing up, another example, we got in trouble playing with firecrackers, and we got a spank, and we had to walk the other kids home. Their mama spanked us. Everybody was in on our discipline. So I think we need to get that back, and not everybody mind their own business. That's her child. I don't care what they do. I think everybody needs to come together and help discipline the children, raise children to be decent citizens. And I would like to thank everybody for coming out to hear my little speech on spanking versus timeout.
And one thing, you didn't tell us what discipline means.